which is probably good because inside the four walls, I think we have a villain and a hero. Eddie Betts, great to see you.
That's right, thanks for having me.
Jordan Lewis, how would you describe your relationship with the football?
I've always wanted to be the hero. It's great. No, They clapping for Eddie. I learned a good lesson early on when I came over and played at Amy Park, and it was against Port Adelaide, and the amount of football that I watched, and AFL football, even amateur football, when you come to the bench, you walk the boundary line and you cool down, so to speak. But I reckon I did that once in my career, and it was over at Amy Stadium, and that was enough for me. I just didn't like the feedback that came over the fence. So that was a good reason just to sit on the bench and not venture too far.
How they did adore Eddie here. Which pocket is yours, Eddie? Or do you lay claim to all?
The whole lot.
Surely this one down here.
Down. Well, they did say it was down that end. I don't want to claim it, but it's
Oh, yeah, but you're going to.
One of those four.
But I'll claim it, yes.
But 3 goals of the year at this ground. I mean, this was your theatre.
Yeah, well, it's always great to play at Adelaide Oval. I was lucky when I did move across to the Adelaide Crows that they moved to Adelaide that year, to Adelaide Oval that year, which was pretty special because I think this is one of the best grounds in Australia other than the MCG to play on. It holds 55,000, but when you got a full crowd, whether it's Port or Adelaide, when they're yelling and screaming and really vocal, it just echoes through the stadium. And, to play and try kick goals and to hear the crowd, that's why I played for, just to excite the crowd and try to put smiles on their faces. But Ainsworth, I
think he's right. I think there's genuine excitement from the current players to come over here and play, but when they opened up the gates here and to play here for the first time, and anyone who's been to the MCG during finals times and played in those games, when you get to the game, there's murmuring, and this is probably, other than the MCG in finals week, this is the only ground that you can really hear that atmosphere build. And as a player, it was second to the MCG, and lucky enough to play here. But I couldn't imagine playing here every week like the Adelaide players and Port Adelaide players every second week get to do in front of their home crowd. It must be unbelievable.
There should be a plaque down there so that we all know.
No.
Last week, Eddie, we spoke about Jamara and the triumph at the end of the tumult. And then this week we are in the grip of what feels like an epidemic of racial abuse on social media toward a set of Indigenous players. So this week, Isaac Rankin, Nathan Wilson, Michael Walters and Charlie Cameron. I wonder, are you disturbed by the cluster? Not really, to be honest. And I say that because it happens all the time. And we continue to speak about it. We continue to call it out. And when I saw what happened over the weekend, it was hard to see. And, my love goes out to those boys, their families, their teammates as well, that are there playing with those boys. But enough's enough. Like, when are we going to see a stance? It's time where I guess we need to find them. It's going to keep happening. And it felt like it was a target attack because it just all happened over the weekend to these players. And I find, since Jamara spoke about it and stood up last week, they don't like, especially, I guess, Aboriginal people standing up for what they believe in and trying to stamp out racism. I feel like they want to put us back down in our boxes where they think where we belong. So,
do you think it brings it out more?
I don't think it brings it out more because I think everyone else needs to do their part and continue to talk and continue to educate and continue to have those conversations, which we continue to try and educate and advocate. But, yeah, I mean, like, you look at Goodsey, he called out racism and it just kept happening to him. And then people are jumping on board even though they didn't even know what was going on. So, yeah, it is disappointing to see. And I guess that we just have to continue to keep educating, continue to keep talking about it. It's everyone in this room today, you have to continue to, educate yourselves, your friends, your family, your kids, and the next generation. I think that's where we're getting change. We're seeing change, but it's always going to happen. It continues to happen, and we just, like I said, we just got to just continue to move forward and try and make change. Eddie, thank you. Hawthorn, the off-field and on-field. So, what was happening on Monday with the gathering? It looked like a reunion in the corporate box.
Yeah, it was. You speak about Tom Lynch being an old-fashioned player, it was sort of an old-fashioned catch-up, which was which was nice. But it wasn't anything official. It was literally whoever was in town, and there were players who came from interstate. I mean, you know, once again, you speak about finals football, but me as a Hawthorn player and the Geelong players, Easter Monday was as close to we could possibly get to doing that. So it was bizarre. Luke Hodge organised the box, yet he was commentating for a rival network, we won't mention. Then he came into the box for 5 minutes and then went and saw a movie after that. So we didn't see Hodgie all day, but thanks to Hodgie for organising the event. It was a bit of a bizarre sort of setup, but it's nice. And that's the beauty about football clubs, whether it be amateur or professional, is when you do depart, then catching up and sharing old stories. And it was great to watch the first half, Gerard.
Yeah, so what about the third quarter?
No, we left at half-time, so maybe that was the issue.
Who was the rowdiest in that group?
Oh, yeah, Guerra. But, yeah, no, I mean, to Hawthorn's credit, they did really well. Probably didn't capitalise in the first half, but then, I mean, that third quarter, 10 goals to 1, a smacking. And you have to be careful, purely from a Hawthorn point of view, to not really think too much about that third quarter, because it can become overbearing and you think the season's gone and the game itself presented nothing to you as a player. So you've got to then try and take the positives, which would be the first half. But even speaking to the players after the game, and your head spins when there's an onslaught like it happened against Geelong. None of the players knew what to do because they're not experienced. There was no one out there that could actually arrest that momentum. But I mean, this could be the kickstart that Geelong need to get their season going.
If you had a couple of leaders out there, would it, say 2 more, would it make too much difference to that, do you think?
I think so, yeah. I think it might not have won the game, but certainly it would have stopped that, 10-0 third quarter. And as simple as it is, this would be a really big learning curve for these players to go back, work out how they lead in those times and hopefully improve. But, geez, Geelong were powerful, really powerful in that second half.
Fremantle and Gold Coast, Eddie, come here for the early game on Friday. It's out at Norwood. Is there just an uncomfortable truth to this that it's season on the line in round 5?
No, I don't think so. And it's a wonderful ground to play at, Bucks Norwood. I don't know if you played down there. It's beautiful with the
one game.
The one game down there. So, no, I really don't think so. And listen, and speaking to Took backstage, like he said that, they're all, Gold Coast are all positive. Even though they played not the way they wanted to play against St Kilda, and they came out of the meeting, which Took probably will speak about, that it was, things that they could control. And, they could take confidence out of the week beforehand playing Geelong up at home and smashing them. So I think I'd be more worried for Fremantle, to be honest, knowing, the way that they played here at Adelaide Oval, where, they tried to go quick in the second half, they just couldn't go, and it was a little too late for them, and then they have Bulldogs next week back at home, so it'll be a tough road.
Justin Longmuir spoke today around the idea that players are second-guessing themselves. Almost, it feels like the consequence sits materially over the action. That's a hard way to live.
Yeah, and that's the art of coaching, to try and eliminate all that doubt in a player's mind, so he can go out there and play with clarity. So I haven't seen what he spoke about, but as a coaching staff, you review how you do everything, and that probably is your biggest worry for players, to go out there and second guess every single action that happens on that footy field. And the natural, I mean, both these sides go in and they need to win. I think it's a really hard slog if whoever loses to come back and to play finals. So to approach a game like that, but to not think about the end result and try and really break it down, because the end result can once again make you second guess yourself and cloud your thoughts as you're participating in the game.